Hello, friends. Today, I want to continue on with our histamine series and discuss how essential oils can support immune resiliency, balance excess histamine levels, and aid in alleviating histamine intolerance and MCAS symptoms. So, that is a lot to cover in this video. I am Dr. Sarah, and I'm so grateful that you joined me today. Let's start talking a little bit about this rise in histamine reactivity that has been occurring that many of you may have noticed. There's been an increased number of people getting sicker, and they're experiencing not just more sickness in general from viruses, but also more robust allergic responses, menstrual issues, gut disturbances, strange skin eruptions, mood shifts, sleep issues. One of the big things that I've noticed with my clientele is that they've been getting really intense reactions to bug bites, bee stings, hornets, wasps. And these issues that they're having tend to respond not as quickly as they have in the past to effective integrative techniques. Now, these techniques might still work, but it's slower to respond because there's an additional step that we need to consider. Perhaps you're somebody who's also noticed that you're having a little bit of a weaker resiliency or more hyper reactive to environmental or emotional stressors. And you are not alone. This is a lot of people that I've spoken to in my clientele, as well as many integrative practitioners, have noticed the same thing. There's this increase in environmental and emotional stressors in our world, and this is causing histamine levels to be higher and more elevated. And histamine is very involved with the immune response in our inflammatory processes. And as a result, when histamine goes array, a lot of our different inflammatory mediators come out and a lot of different symptoms can occur. So previously I discussed the causes and issues related to excess histamine in the body. I discussed what histamine was, what mast cells were, what mast cell activation syndrome was, what happens when we have all of these issues and how to treat the histamine response as far as the first steps because it is complex. And I also reviewed how essential oils, a little bit, how they can aid histamine balance. So now I want to dive deeper into the specifics about essential oils, and this will be good for people who are struggling to understand some of their mechanisms, as well as practitioners as well, to consider how essential oils might be able to fit into your protocols for histamine intolerance, histamine excess, or MCAS. So in this video, we're going to discuss a little review in case you missed the last video on histamine, histamine intolerance, and MCAS, how essential oils can harmonize our health in general, how these harmonizing impacts that essential oil have can indirectly influence histamine balance, and then some essential oils that directly influence histamine balance. And then in the final post, I did not intend for this to be a three-part series, but it's becoming that way. There will be another part where I'll focus on more specific essential oils for balancing chronic inflammatory responses and heightened histamine levels. As always, all the references, articles, and studies will be in the links in the video description, in the resource section, and in the actual accompanying article itself. So let's start off with reviewing a little bit about histamine, mast cell activation syndrome, histamine intolerance, and essential oils. So histamine is a vital chemical messenger. It's not the bad guy. It actually ignites an effective immune response and it influences many bodily functions. And histamine receptors are found in so many locations in the body. That's why you can get so many different symptoms when histamine released. And this is things that you're probably familiar, like allergies or dizziness or flushing. You can also get things such as headaches, hives, skin issues, fatigue, digestive problems, blood pressure changes, hormonal imbalances, and asthma attacks. Just a little side note here, histamine and estrogen are linked, so excess estrogen can cause more histamine issues. So when there's more histamine in the body, it actually is related to some sort of environmental or emotional trigger. Now, usually there's a genetic variation or nutritional deficiency that leads to a slower breakdown of histamine, or there's a metabolic disorder present. There might be an underlying pathogen like Lyme disease that might be triggering it, or mold in the environment. And there's also usually accompanying with these factors a decreased excretion and metabolism of histamine. So it just compounds these different effects. Now, if the body doesn't effectively deal with excess histamine, there's a chronic rise in histamine levels in the body. It builds up, and that's where people can get histamine intolerance and then the many issues associated with mast cell activation syndrome. Now, the mast cells, remember, are those cells of immune cells that actually they spew out histamine, but they're also related to different mediators that they release, not just histamine, and they're overreactive. So in both instances, the immune system is dysregulated and you can get a ton of different symptoms. And they're pretty complex to treat because there's so many different ranges of symptoms that can occur and because of how many different receptor sites in the body that histamine hits. The first step is usually lowering histamine levels. Some people need an over-the-counter if it's really intense. Some people do good with natural methods, so people do good with a combination of both. But you want to couple this with calming the limbic system so that way the body is less hyperreactive. The nervous system can calm down and it's not responding. The body feels like it's in danger, so you got to get the body out of that danger signal. Now, essential oils are great in the process. I've used them in every step for people that have been having excess histamine levels. Let's talk about why. So first of all, essential oils have biochemical properties in them that harmonize our entire body. They help us elevate our defense and repair process and assist with optimizing our immune response. And this aids in our ability to deal with those external stressors and harmful chemicals that are igniting the histamine response. Essential oils are anti-inflammatory. They modulate hormones and neurotransmitters. They're mood supportive. They're antimicrobial. They are digestive aids. They actually help with elimination and they support a healthy microbiome. They are cellular protectors or antioxidants. They are stress relieving and they support detoxification of harmful compounds. So because of all these properties, remember, we're addressing the underlying triggers and emotional stressors that fuel excess histamine. So we're addressing some of the root causes of the response in the first place. And they also can directly modulate histamine response, which I'll get to a little bit later. But if we looked at these indirect actions, I'll take them kind of one by one and explain a little bit more. So as an anti-inflammatory agent, essential oils can calm down excess histamine release and anti-inflammatory triggers, kind of obvious connection there. And they also regulate neurotransmitters. So essential oils can help to balance out histamine's impact on the brain because histamine acts as a neurotransmitter as well. And essential oils can help modulate different neurotransmitters to help bring about a better mood shift. They're also antimicrobial, so they can help get rid of any pathogens that are contributing to an excess inflammatory response or histamine release. They aid in digestion, elimination, and a healthy microbiome. And that's important because we know that the gut is a hub of the immune system. And when there's chronic inflammation, it can lead to leaky gut and cause issues in the gut-brain axis. And we need optimal nutrition and assimilation for healing, and healthy elimination is important because it prevents toxics accumulation in the body, which can further fuel inflammation. And histamine itself can result in feed leaky gut. So all of these issues kind of are like, you'll see the circular patterns here. If we stop them at the root cause and address some of the triggers, it's a lot better. As antioxidants, essential oils can protect our cells and organs from the chronic inflammation that results from histamine being ramped for a long period of time. And they also, as antioxidants, kind of sweep up cellular debris and damage in the intercellular spaces of the cells. They can aid detoxification of harmful compounds. I did a whole series on essential oils and how they directly impact detoxification and help our body with harmful compounds in various ways. They modulate the immune response and nervous system, like I talked about, but also through the vagus nerve, which when we stimulate the vagus nerve, it's actually anti-inflammatory. And when we stimulate the vagus nerve, it enhances parasympathetic activity, which is the subconscious physiological functioning of our bodies. And it results in a calmer mind and a body, a less reactive immune response, kind of balances out that fight or flight and rest and digest system, as well as our safety and our ventral vagal tone. Essential oils also have a well-known ability to induce relaxation and relieve stress. That's probably what they're most famous for. And that's important because then all of our different physiological pathways for healing and repair work better when we're calmer. We can't heal when we're running away from the proverbial saber-toothed tiger, right? So essential oils act by directly influencing our mind-body state through regulating our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, so the communication between our brain and our hormone release. They buffer the stress at the level of perception. So when we inhale essential oils, our perceptions can shift and our mood can shift instantaneously from that aromatic response and that connection to our limbic brain. They balance our hormones, they lower cortisol, and they can stimulate the vagus nerve as mentioned above. So that's all the direct impact on the mind-body stress relieving effects. So that's how essential oils can indirectly influence histamine balance and assist with some of the damage of excess histamine responses. So now that we've gone over these kind of facts about histamine intolerance, how it impacts a wide range of bodily functions, how essential oils have all these different properties that can help remediate some of the triggers as well as some of the underlying issues that are causing elevated histamine in the body. Let's look at some essential oils that directly impact histamine levels through their various constituents and properties. And I'll cover more specifics in another post because I came upon an article that had just like A to Z essential oils. And I want to dive deeper into that with you guys so you have more references and maybe, more access to different oils that you can use for histamine. But for now, I focused on some of the clinical research that was more well known for four essential oils and one aromatherapy blend I found in a human clinical trial, just to kind of give you a taste of how essential oils have been shown to directly impact histamine. So geranium has been shown to inhibit mast cell degranulation. So that means it stops it from releasing all of those compounds. This is in Petri dish studies. It was linked to the component citronal, which is also found in rose, neroli, chamomile, basil, lemongrass, and lavender. So that those oils weren't tested, but citronal was found to be the active constituent in that component for histamine. Rosemary was also found in a lab study to inhibit histamine reaction. Lavender oil, there was an animal study, and the researchers found it to inhibit immediate type allergic reactions by inhibition of mast cell degranulation. So those type 1 allergic reactions, those immediate responses, lavender was helpful in rats and mice as well as in petri dishes. Peppermint oil has several lab studies demonstrating its anti-inflammatory effects on various inflammatory mediators, including from mast cells, histamine, and also aiding respiratory support. So histamine is often associated with respiratory issues. Menthanol and different components in peppermint have been helpful for that. There was an aromatherapy blend was used in a human randomized trial assessing aromatherapy oil inhalation on quality of life measures in 54 subjects. They were aged 20 to 60 years, and they had perennial allergic rhinitis, so inflammation in the nose from allergies during allergy season. The blend contained sandalwood, geranium, and Ravensara, and the placebo was almond oil. The intervention was applied 5 minutes twice a day for 7 days. So they inhaled 5 minutes twice a day for 7 days. The findings reported that aromatherapy helped relieve their symptoms, improve their specific quality of life, and reduce fatigue. The authors stated that there's different reasons for this, and they attributed to the anti-inflammatory effect. They said that essential oils like eucalyptus, ravensara, and frankincense contain monoterpenes like 1,8-cianol, alpha-terpenol, and alpha-pinene, which have these anti-inflammatory immunomodulatory effects, modulate the immune system. And other essential oils like sandalwood is high in xanthol. They're used for relaxation or sedation, implying potential effects on a hypersensitive organ. We also know there was a study, I recall, where sandalwood was one of the oils that can impact vagal nerve tone. So you guys get little extras if you listen to the video, in case you haven't noticed. So essential oils, if we summarize all of this, have biochemical properties that help us cope with these external stressors as they harmonize the entire body, help us deal with these excess histamine response by actually getting to some of the triggers and also the downstream effects of those triggers, helping kind of mop up the damage that was done. And these characteristics with essential oil can help us deal with this histamine overload response. There's been various essential oils that have been shown to lower histamine, granted mostly in lab studies, but these include geranium, lavender, rosemary, peppermint, and specific blends have been shown in some human trials. So what I want to do is in a follow-up vlog, go into more specific oils like I mentioned. And I'd love to hear your experience about using essential oils for high histamine. If you have response with them and what your experience is, and we can learn from each other, go ahead and post the comments and feedbacks in the video description. And I read all of my comments. And I thank you all for listening to learn more about essential oils and histamine. It's an issue out there that I've been noticing. So I wanted to get up the series because that way I have everything kind of compiled in one spot for my clients and for you guys. And maybe you can also bring it to some of your doctors or integrative practitioners' attention. There's some great references and resources and podcasts on histamine intolerance from some of the top people that are also in the reference section that you might want to check out. Go ahead and subscribe to the video channel as well as my newsletter so you don't miss out and when new videos and newsletters drop. And there's also a special offer on a histamine blend that for right now, if you click on the link, you get a little discount. So thank you so much and have a great day. I send you many blessings.